to school?
I was born in Invercargill in 1958. I was born to a rather large family of 10, of 6 sisters and 3 brothers, or 4 boys counting myself, ranging from ages now from 54 down to early 30s. If you split the family in half, I'm the youngest of the older half, and then there's a 2-year gap between me and my next sister. There was originally 12 of us, but 2 of my younger sisters passed at early age of their life as infants, so we never really got to know them. My father was into the construction type work, Mum was just a normal housewife. As for me, my schooling was done in the primary days, I think you would call it. Infant years was at St. Teresa's in Invercargill. Then in my intermediate years was at Marist down in Invercargill. With the type of work Dad was into, we moved to Queenstown around about 1970. I finished off my schooling there, at the local school there. After that, I went into the workforce, worked in a couple of restaurants type thing until I sort of felt my footholding of what I wanted to do, and that was in the building trade. Worked, believe it or not, on the Shotover River Bridge, the new one what was built down there back in 1970. It was completed in 1974. After working there, the family moved to Nelson. Well, the family sort of split up, if you like. Then some moved to Christchurch, some stayed in Queenstown, and some moved to Nelson. I chose to move to Nelson. I worked at a variety of jobs there. Worked for my father, who started his own business up there. Then I moved to Australia, lived over in Australia for about 20 years. Got into a relationship over there, good relationship. My cross-dressing was sort of accepted, but with very strong guidelines.
When did you first start doing that?
Cross-dressing? Oh, I was doing that way back when I was in Invercargill. God, I can remember. Probably late 60s maybe about 7 or 8 years old. My parents, we lived in Invercargill, we lived in what they call the old state house, and the old state houses never were big enough for a large family. Anyway, so my father bought a hut and turned it into a 2-bedroom hut, where my eldest brother and I used to live in it. And my eldest brother was away for a period of time. I'm not quite sure what for. But I was having a field day being able to do my little bit of cross-dressing. I can remember that clear as if it was just yesterday. The clothes I used to wear was my grandmother's. She died in an auto accident, and when they sort of cleared the flat or cleared her home out, all her clothing was put into plastic bags in the old garage we had. And I was in paradise, you know, because the old lacy nighties and the very fully blouses and dresses, you know. Okay, they were 10 times bigger than me, but it was just wow, you know, it was just heaven, you know, it was just me. Back then, I think it sort of felt right, but yet it was wrong, you know, because, you know, guys weren't supposed to wear dresses, you know, this is just not on. But being naive, if you like to use, and being so young, and also not knowing how to talk about it to people, you know, it was a bit of a hard thing to do. You know, you couldn't walk up to your parents saying, "Hey Mum, I've got this thing about wearing dresses." You know, I mean, Christ, back in 1960s, early 70s, she would have probably hit you over the head with a rolling pin and told you to wake up, you know. Yeah, so yeah, my early days, or my early recollection of wearing cross-dressing would have been back then, yeah. Like most transsexuals that come in phases, there was a big period of my life where I had no desire to cross-dress. I would have probably been in my early teens, 13, 14 sort of thing, where the desire to cross-dress wasn't there. And it probably wasn't until I sort of got into my 20s where the feeling came back and it was much stronger. Also, when I was in the relationship, that the cross-dressing was allowed, but like I said before, with guidelines, it sort of gave me a bit more freedom, but unfortunately the feelings got stronger and stronger as time went by. Yeah.
So this is in Australia?
Yeah, Brisbane.
And you meet your partner there?
Yes, we never married. We lived in a de facto, no children or anything. We were not quite sure. We did try for children, the more routine thing, and because it never happened, we were both going to go and get medically checked out to see which one of us was firing blanks, if you like to use the term, if it was my partner or ex-partner or if it was me. As time goes by, I think it possibly was me, but we never really found out. We were quite happy to settle with no kids, but it would have been nice to have a little junior, but just never happened. Yeah.
So tell us about the point in your life where you decided to go from being male to progress right through to where you are at the moment.
Well, when I was in my relationship in Australia, it sort of started falling apart, different reasons, Also, I think my desire to become female was getting stronger because cross-dressing was getting much more regular and my feelings towards it were getting much stronger. And the relationship was slowly falling apart over different things, personal issues, financial, no love there sort of thing, and things like that. And so we decided to call it a day. And because I had a lot of friends and stuff over in Australia, to come out to them and say, hey, look, I'm going to become a female, it would have been a bit hard. So I decided the best option would be to move back to New Zealand, come back to mummy, so to speak. So I decided to pack bags and move back to New Zealand and do it here. With that in mind, I thought it would be easier because I would have didn't know anybody, and for the short time I was in male mode, I didn't get to know a lot of people, so I didn't have to explain a lot to a lot of people. I started in Nelson because that's where my mother was living at the time, and the family weren't very accepting of it. At first they thought I was just going to be a cross-dresser, just a guy who likes to wear female clothes occasionally. And it wasn't until the body changes started developing, breast growth, feminisation, things like that, they realised, hey shit, this person's going, or he's going with extra 10Ks, and they made it quite clear that they couldn't accept it and they weren't willing to learn anything about it, and they made their views on the whole subject quite clear. It's a bit sad, but my family turned their back on me, but I can sort of live with that now. It was a bit hard at first, but I can live with it. But yeah, like I said, I come back to New Zealand to do it, and I'd done the whole Transsolution in Nelson, and then the opportunity came to move to Christchurch. So when I come to Christchurch, there was no male side of me at all. So everybody I met in Christchurch and all the friends I've got here in Christchurch don't know any of that past. They've all known me as